All right, what's up, guys? VV back with another video. And in today's video, guys, we're going to be checking out the blue cards from OP-09. So we got a lot of spoilers lined up for today, of course. I've already covered red, green, and the leaders. I will link those all in the comment section below, guys. And when I went over the leaders, guys, I did an entire tier list, okay, prediction list. So definitely check that out if you've not already. That one was really fun. Okay, but hey, let's go ahead and dive into this, guys. Not much to talk about. We're going to be heading over to, the spoilers first, what you can see on the screen here. Then we'll have one game on the sim, and we'll finish up, with that game on the sim and checking out the deck list, and I'll give you my final thoughts then. All right, guys, let's do this. Let's get into it. I'll have everything time-stamped in the general description, and I'll have all relevant links and stuff like that in the comment section. All right, let's do it. So, first things first, I have already gone over the leaders. I'm just going to read Buggy real quick to put everything into perspective of what we go over in the rest of the blue cards, so we know what, we can kind of see a little bit of synergy, refresh our memory a little bit on what Buggy does. So, 5 life, 5,000 power, blue, 4 emperors, cross guild type leader here. Activate main. You may rest 5 of your Dawn cards and trash 1 card from your hand. Okay, so you're tapping 5 and you're trashing a card from hand. And then you're playing up to 1 cross-guild type character card from your hand. And that is not a once per turn. So if you have a 10 Dawn turn, you can rest 5, play out a big character and trash a card from hand, and then do it again. Trash another character, play a big character from hand, as long as it is a cross-guild type character. Okay, so with that in mind, let's go ahead and, really consider that when we're going through the cards today, basing how strong the card is. Let me adjust my camera just a little bit, guys. Okay, I think that's a little bit better. All right, now, let's go ahead and get into this. There's the altar. Looks great. Really good stuff there. Let me adjust my microphone too, guys. Bring it forward a little bit. There we go. All right. Now, next up we have Alvida. This is straight to the 5-cost characters here. This is a 5-cost, 6,000 power character with a 1k counter, and it has the effect of, on KO, if your leader has the cross-guild type, play up to 1 character card with a cost of 5 or less other than Alvida from your hand. Now, one thing I do want to mention, I kind of have to skip ahead almost, guys. You're going to have to bear with me here, but let me just say this. Keep the 5-cost characters in your mind because it is going to be very relevant later. Now, it's not relevant in terms of this character effect because think about it like this, guys. Why would I rest 5 cards to activate this, or excuse me, rest 5 Dawn to activate my leader effect and trash a card from hand to play a 5 Dawn character? That doesn't really make much sense. I can just play it like normal, right? I can just play it for 5 Dawn and not trash a card from hand. Who knows? There might be a reason to do that in the future if you need a certain amount of cards in hand to activate an effect or something. But currently, for what we're trying to do, that doesn't make a lot of sense. However, 5-cost characters, especially cross-guild characters, are actually very, very important for what we're going to be doing with Buggy the leader. So keep that in mind when we're looking at cards like this. So as far as this card goes, it's a 5-cost, 6k, 1k counter, and it has protection. If it gets KO'd, then you can bring another 5-cost character in that's cross-guild type other than Alvida. I think this card's awesome. It does require a little bit of setup. You do have to build your deck a certain way, but at the same time, it has a lot of potential upside. You lose a 5-cost 6k, and then you can replace it with another 5-cost 6k. Or it could be a 5-cost or less, as long as it is a cross-guild type that's not Alvida. So I'm going to give this card I'm going to give it just a solid 6.5 out of 10, because it's not incredible, it's not breaking the game, but it does give you a little bit of insurance on the next turn, so you can keep these 5-cost characters going. Okay, next character. Izo. Look how awesome this artwork is, guys. That is incredible. We got a 3-cost, 4,000 power, 1k counter character here, Land of Wano, Whitebeard Pirates type. When attacking, I already have something to say. Because I just kind of glanced over the effect. Hang on. All right, when attacking, look at 5 cards from the top of your deck. Reveal up to 1 Land of Wano type card or card with a type including Whitebeard Pirates and add it to your hand. Okay, then place the rest at the bottom of your deck in any order and trash 1 card from your hand. So, real quick, you're going to attack, and then you're going to do a top 5 search, and you can grab a Land of Wano card, or a card with the types including Whitebeard Pirates in it, and add it to your hand, and then you're going to place the rest at the bottom of your deck in any order, and you're going to trash 1 card from your hand. So it does work as like a top 5 search cycle card, but that's pretty good. So what I was going to say earlier, hang on, don't worry, we're going to talk more about this card, and it's about this card. I needed this to be like a yellow card for the yellow Land of Wano stuff. And I know some people are going to be like, no, yellow doesn't need any more help. I get it. That's fine. But I'm just saying, like, This is a Land of Wano searcher when attacking. Oh, man, I really wish I could have got my hands on this in the color yellow. Who knows? Maybe in the future. We've got a green one now. We've got a blue one now. Or we've had a green one. Now we've got a blue one. Maybe in the near future here for like maybe red and yellow to come out soon for that Land of Wano support. But that's okay. I understand. They're trying to keep the game balanced. I get it. I get it. Okay, so let's grade this card real quick, guys. I think this is a great searcher, but it is not an on play. So I'm only going to give this one a 7 out of 10, maybe even a 6.5 out of 10, because it's a 3-cost, 4,000 power body, and a 1K counter. So it's not really dead in hand. It comes out on a very strong odd curve. Now your opponent has to deal with this. It's very annoying, and it can search up Whitebeard or Land of Wano cards. And then it's not a full-on card draw either, though. So I am going to stick actually with a 6.5 on the rating, because you have to attach 1 Dawn to it to swing for 5 into the standard, base power of a leader. And then on top of that, like I said, you aren't exactly going up a card. You're cycling a card. Okay, so I'm going to give it a 6.5 out of 10. I think it's still a very, very good card. Okay, let's keep going. And as usual, guys, tell me what y'all think in the comment section below. Obviously, I want to know what you guys think about these cards, too. 5 cost, 5,000 power, 2K counter, cross guild type card. Already, we're thinking about that. Remember what I said, guys. Keep your eye on the 5 cost cross guild cards and higher. This is a 2K counter as well, guys. If you have a Buggy or Moji character, this character cannot be KO'd in battle. Now, remember, it's not a Buggy leader in this case. It's a Buggy or Moji character. Okay, just to make sure you guys understand that. Now, it is my favorite stat line in the game of 5 cost, 5,000 power, 2K counter. You love to see it. The effect is not bad, but at the same time, I kind of like it more to be cheated out with Alvida. Like, I think it's a good way to complement this character's effect, so you can keep 5 cost characters on the board. You do lose a 2K counter in the process. And losing a 2K counter's, that's not nothing. But at the same time, you do what you have to do to keep presence on the board so you can keep some tempo and momentum. Overall, though, I'm going to give this card a 7.5 out of 10. I give every 2K counter a 7.5 out of 10, and then up from there depending on how strong the effect is. And this effect is not exactly crazy, but it's better than nothing. Okay. Next up, we got Crocodile. Okay, 7 cost, 7,000 power, 1K counter. That is another incredible stat line that I absolutely love. I think if I had to rank like my favorite stat lines in the game just for like how versatile they can be, 5 cost, 5,000 power, 2K counter, and then 7 cost, 7,000 power, 1K counter. I'm a huge fan of those stat lines. It just seems like they're always relevant. You know what I mean? 7 cost is a little bit further into the game, but guess what? It still has a 1K counter for the early game. And once we get to the late game, yeah, I don't want to play any of the small characters anymore. I want to play the big ones. You know what I mean? So let's see what this card does. It's a Cross Guild, former Baroque Works. On play, play up to 1 Cross Guild type character card or character card with a type including Baroque Works with a cost of 5 or less from your hand. Okay, so that's really nice. So remember what I was saying, guys, with the 5 cost characters for, in this case, it's Cross Guild or Baroque Works. But remember what I was saying, guys. Keep your eye on these 5 cost characters because they have synergy, they have combo potential with all these cards we're looking at. Crocodile would be able to cheat in a Kabaji, right? Because this is Cross Guild. Or how's about an Alvida, which if it gets KO'd, it can cheat in something like what we just said with Kabaji. So that's a very relevant cost with this Buggy-themed, Cross Guild type deck. Okay. Whoops, I went too far, but check out this alt art, guys. Looks really incredible. So as far as what I rate this card, it is a 7 cost, 7K with a 1K counter. The stat line's fine. I know it's a little low for a stat line. We're used to, I mean, a vanilla card's a 7 cost, 9K with a 1K counter. Is this effect strong enough to give it that kind of stat line? And I would argue yes, because you're getting a 7 cost 7K and then a 5 cost whatever, right? A 5 cost 5K, 6K, or 7K, generally speaking. So I think it is actually very powerful because you're paying for 7, but you're getting 12. So that's, or at least potentially you're getting 12, right? I shouldn't say you're definitely getting it because it does require some setup. So I am going to give this card just a very solid 7.5 out of 10. I think this is a very strong character that gives a lot of tempo. It allows blue to flood the board, and that's scary every single time, right? So really good stuff there. And of course, I really want to know what you guys have to say about some of this board flood idea. Like I guess what they're trying to do, I want to do a video on this later, guys. It looks like there are certain principles in the TCG, like in the One Piece TCG, that they want every color to have access to, and that probably will dictate whether the deck is more of a tempo deck or an aggro deck or a control deck. And I think they want every color to have access to a way to fill up the board. So that way every color has access to like a more mid-range deck. You don't just have to play aggro if you're playing red, or you don't have to just play control if you're playing blue and stuff like that. You see what I'm saying? I think that's the intent. We'll have to see. And like I said, that's probably a video for another day, but I do at least want to mention that here. Okay, next up we have Kazuki Oden. This is a 9-cost, 10,000 power character. Okay, no counter. Land of Wano, Whitebeard Pirates type. And the effect is double attack. All right. On KO, draw 2 and trash 1. Okay, so remember, guys, this is not a cross-guild character, so we cannot cheat this out into play. However, this is still a very powerful character, guys. A 9-cost 10k with double attack, and then when you KO it, you get to draw 2, trash 1. I think this card's solid. And I'll tell you what, guys, for sealed, this card is outstanding, right? Like, for sealed, this is like a 10 out of 10, you know what I mean? Or a 9 out of 10. But as far as constructed, like standard constructed goes, I would give this probably like a 7 out of 10. It's very high stat. You know, it has a very high stat line, but at the same time, it has no counter, so it is kind of hard to, you know, how do I say this? You don't want a lot of these in your hand, or they're just dead over the course of the game, like over the early part of the game. But once you get to the late game, you still don't want to chain these together. The effect is not strong enough. This is a card you probably want as a 1 or 2 of in your deck if you're trying to run it. Or, well, unless, like I said, unless you're playing sealed. You know, if you're playing sealed, then absolutely this should be in there as like more than that. Okay, but other than that, guys, this card in standard, not really great because it's a little slow. But I'll still give it like a nice, you know, let me give it I was going to give it a 7 out of 10. Let me give it like a 6.5 out of 10 because it's just a little bit slow. Not having a 1k counter is rough. The effect is incredible, but they might choose to just ignore it now that you're that far into the game. Like, and by ignore it, I mean just use a blocker every time and then just swing past it. But we'll have to see. We'll have to see. Okay, next up we got Mihawk here. Okay, 6 cost, 7,000 power character with blocker. He is cross-guild as well. On play, draw 2 and trash 1 from your hand. So blocker would draw 2, trash 1. No downside. The only thing it does not have is a counter, guys. It's a 6 cost 7k with no counter, but it's blocker, draw 2, trash 1. It is a 6 cost character, so I guess if you use the Buggy leader effect, you can cheat this into play. But that's not exactly the best bang for your buck, right? You want something a little bit bigger to cheat into play. But hey, it's better than nothing. If you're on the odd curve and you're going 1, 3, 5, boom. You just slam this card down. It'll end up being like a draw 2, trash 2 effect. Because remember, you'll have to trash 1 with Buggy to do the effect. And then you're going to draw 2 and trash 1 more with this effect. But then you have a 7k blocker. It's really not bad, to be honest, guys. It's really not that bad. Okay, so this one I'm actually going to give a nice... I'm going to give this like an 8 out of 10. I think this card's solid. Even outside of Buggy, this isn't leader locked, is it? No, it's not leader locked. Like, even outside of Buggy, this is just a huge 6 cost 7k. So I'm already thinking, oh man, so I'm already thinking about something, guys. All right, number 1, why is he only cross guild type? Come on now, Bandai, come on. I needed this to be 7 Warlords of the Sea for my blue and green Sanji deck. Obviously, common sense. 6 cost 7k blocker, draw 2, trash 1. This card is incredible for that deck, guys. Oh, it's actually so good. I can't wait to mess around with some of this stuff in the future, but I am very sad that they chose to not give it the 7 Warlords of the Sea type so that I couldn't search it up with Sengoku, right? Oh, man, unfortunate. Still a very good card. I'm going to give it, like I said, what did I give it, like an 8 out of 10? This card's incredible, guys. Really solid card. I think this is usable even outside of Buggy. Okay, we got an alt art here. Looks really good. Not bad. I actually really like this alt art. A lot of times I don't really care for the alt art, but this is one of the rare situations where I like the alt art better than the original. Looks really good. All right, next up is Jozu. This is just a 4 cost, 6,000 power, 1k counter, vanilla. Nothing special about it. 5 out of 10. We'll take it. We got Nami here. This is a 1 cost, 1,000 power, 1k counter, East Blue type character with the effect of when attacking, look at 5 cards from the top of your deck and then reveal up to 1 blue event and add it to your hand. Okay. All right, okay. Then place the rest at the bottom of your deck in any order. Yeah, so it looks like we got a little bit of Nami support. Let's go, dude. Let's absolutely go, right? I'm just kidding a little bit. I'm just having a little bit of fun. Chill out, guys. Calm down. But yeah, so let me say this right now. It's a when attacking to do this effect. And I'll tell you what, if they attack, you know, even if they just attack for 1, right? I think, I don't know how to say it. I'm not too scared of this. I think most decks are going to be able to just pop this card. What is it searching up, though? 1 blue event. Man, this is a... This is a pretty good card. And here's the thing. If they do get to use it 1 time, it ends up being a 1-cost card that draws a card. Probably 99% of the time, depending on the ratios in the deck for your events. But yeah, solid card for Nami for sure. I don't think it's really great for anything else. But hey, as far as for Nami goes, like with all things considered for what this card's doing, this is at least a 7.5 out of 10. I would say maybe closer to a 7 out of 10 since you do have to attack to get the effect. But man, if they get to attack with this card, that's that, right? They're definitely getting some value from that. Really, really strong. I think every deck, with this card in mind, guys, with this card right here in mind, every single deck will probably have to run some type of way to pop or rest a 1-cost... excuse me. Excuse me. Some way to pop or rest a 1-cost character or a 1,000 power character. You have to have a way to do that with Nami in the format with a card like this. Okay, got an alt art. Very nice. Very solid. Next up. Okay, now this is the card I wanted to sneak peek to go all the way to the front to. Check this out, guys. This is a 10-cost, 12,000 power Buggy character. And by the way, look at the rarity. Notice the rarity. That is just a rare. I bet, okay, this is for a whole nother video, obviously, but I bet the sealed format for OP-09 is going to literally be so good. There are so many massive characters that, you know, are from like common, uncommon, rare, super rare. There's probably some for, yeah, there's even some for secret rare, but who cares about all that? Like, there are rares, commons, like we just saw. Didn't we just see Oden? Oden's a common, right? Yeah, Oden was a common, guys. Unbelievable. Like I bet OP-09 is going to have one of the best sealed formats we've seen so far, guys. I bet it's just going to be so much fun. Really good stuff there. Okay, but anyway, back to Buggy. Back to Buggy. And did I rate this card? I rated Nami a 7 out of 10 because she does at least have to attack, which means you can stop her before she does that with any kind of removal. Okay, now for Buggy. It's a 10-cost 12k, 4 Emperors, cross-guild type character. Excuse me. Place up to one of your opponent's characters at the bottom of the owner's deck. Then, okay, remember what I was talking about with the 5-cost characters, guys? Pay close attention. Then, if you do not have 5 characters with a cost of 5 or more, place this character at the bottom of the owner's deck. Now, the 5-cost characters can be any kind of... It doesn't have to be cross-guild, okay? However, they do have to be 5 cost or more, or when you play this card out, it just goes to the bottom of the deck as well. So it's like a 10-cost card that can remove another 10-cost card easily. You know, it's just like a 10-cost for a 10-cost. Or if you use it with your leader effect, it's a 5-cost that bottom decks a card for, you know, any cost card, right? It can bottom deck any card. I think this card's excellent. I think it's very strong. I think it's very powerful. I'm going to give this card like a really strong 8. I'll give it a... I want to give it a 7.5 or an 8 out of 10. I don't want to go much higher than that because it requires a lot of setup and it forces you into the Buggy leader. It's not like a totally universal good card because you don't want to pay 10 to remove a 10. It's like, okay, you just let your opponent get another turn off. You know what I mean? You're not getting back into the game like that usually. Sometimes you might. Who knows? Depends on the situation. But generally speaking, you want to be able to play this out for 5 like with the leader effect and get a lot of value in that way. But overall, I'll give this card an 8 out of 10. I'll give it an 8 out of 10. I think it's a really solid card. And if you can start flooding your board with 5-cost characters and get this guy down as like a 5-cost 10,000, 12, excuse me, this ends up being like a 5-cost 12k that bottom decks any character on the board. Like, guys, that's pretty strong. A 5-cost 12k is already strong enough. And then with the upside to bottom deck any character, yep, very strong. If there's a way to fill out the board completely, this is going to be an incredible card. Okay? Really good stuff. Awesome alt art for this one. Looks really good. Love the colors. Very vibrant. Like these soft blues in the background with like these super high contrast reds right next to it. Looks really good. And he's like in front of this. It's like a carnival or something. Looks really cool. Okay, and of course, this one does have a manga. We do have a manga rare right here, guys. This looks awesome. This looks really incredible. And it does have this as well. It also has a wanted poster. I forgot about that. All of the 4 Emperors are going to have one, right? Sorry, guys. Spoiler warning, but it's going to be Blackbeard. It's going to be Luffy. It's going to be Shanks, and it's going to be Buggy. These look awesome, though. They look really incredible. Okay, next up we got Marco. We got a 3-cost, 5,000 power character here, Whitebeard Pirates type. The effect is on your opponent's turn, you may trash 1 card from your hand. When this character is KO'd by your opponent's effect, play this character card from your trash rested. Okay, so it's a card with some decent, you know, like resilience or evasion. It's not bad. It's also not great. This is just, it's a 3-cost 5k. It does not have a counter, or else it would be insane. It would just be like the craziest vanilla ever printed, right, with like recursion. But overall, I think this card is solid. But at the same time, it's not the craziest card out there. I think this will be very strong in something like Red Blue Marco. But at the same time, I don't know. We'll have to see. We'll have to see, right? But I will say this. It is a very tough card to remove unless you have bottom decking or bouncing it in your deck or like some type of resting. But notice what this says. When this character is KO'd. So it can be by effects or in battle. You can bring him back to the field. Pretty good. I'll give this a 7.5 out of 10 because I just don't think it's a bad card. I just don't think it's an insane card either because you are trashing cards from your hand, and that does start to add up very quickly. Okay, very good. Next up, we've got Moji. Okay, we got a 5-cost, 5,000 power, 2k counter, cross-guild type character. Okay, it's that 5 cost, right, guys? And it's a 2k counter. On play, look at 5 cards from the top of your deck and reveal up to 1 Richie and add it to your hand. Then place the rest at the bottom of your deck in any order and play up to 1 Richie from your hand. Reveal up to 1 Richie and add it to your hand, then play it. Okay, so we have to look at Richie real quick, guys. Okay, it's this guy. So that's not bad. It's a 2-cost 2k, 1k counter blocker. This is a very standard stat line amongst, you know, throughout all colors in the game, across all types. Really cool. So, but I will say this, doing that top 5 search to grab it, you know, it could be potentially really strong, you know, for tempo purposes. Like, I mean, imagine a turn. This is just an example, guys. Bear with me. Let me see something real quick for the 7-cost crocodile we just looked at. Sorry, guys. We got to go all the way back. Yeah, this can play up to 1 cross-guild type character card that costs 5 or less. So there's a potential where you go, okay, for 5 Dawn with your leader effect. So let's just say it's on turn 3 and we went first. 5 Dawn, slam down this guy, and then play out... what's the guy's name? I already forgot it. Moji, and then do a top 5 search, which ends up slamming down a Richie. I think that's pretty good. It's not insane. It's not like game winning or anything like that, but it is very solid. You're getting 12 plus 2. You're getting 14 Dawn's worth of value over the course of 5 Dawn. Actually, remember, guys, because you can cheat it out with your leader effect for 5. Okay, really good stuff though. Other than that, really solid. And I will give this one. It's a 2k counter, so I'm giving it a 7. I'll give it a 7.5 out of 10. Just a really solid 2k counter. Okay, and Moji, this is just a 5 out of 10 because it's just a very standard blocker for 2 cost. All right, we got Mr. 1 Dawes Bones here. 5 cost, 7,000 power. He is a cross-guild / former Baroque character. Other than that, though, it is a total vanilla. But I mention this all the time, guys. Whenever I judge vanillas, they're just 5 out of 10s. But I will say this, in this situation here, where we can cheat him out with a card like what we just saw with a Crocodile. Okay, you can go 7 cost, and for 5 Dawn, you can go play out a 7 cost character, which plays out a 5 cost character. That's pretty good, guys, and that's also getting you closer and closer to your stipulation for Buggy. So I will say this. As a vanilla character in any other deck, this is still at least a 5 out of 10 because it's just a solid average card. But in this Buggy deck, this is probably like a 7.5 out of 10, guys. It's actually very, very relevant. Even if you don't cheat it out and you're just playing it on 5 Dawn, it's still fine because you're filling up your board with 5 cost characters that are, you know, that are going to help you play out your Buggies later in the game and keep them on the board. Okay, Mr. 3 Galdino. This is a 1 cost, 2,000 power, 1k counter. Cross guild / former Baroque works. Okay, we got a searcher. This is an effect on play. Look at 4 cards from the top of your deck. Reveal up to 1 cross guild type card or card with a type including Baroque works other than Mr. 3 Galdino and add it to your hand. Then place the rest at the bottom of your deck in any order. So it's just a searcher. I'm just going to give it a 7 out of 10, guys. I always give searchers like a 6.5 or 7 out of 10. We're just going to leave it there. Next up is Cross Guild. This is just a 1 cost event for Cross Guild. And it has the effect of main. Look at 4 cards from the top of your deck, reveal up to 1 cross guild type card and add it to your hand. Then place the rest at the bottom of your deck in any order. I'm just going to give this one like a 6 out of 10 because it's not a body. The trigger does activate the main effect though. It's very strong, but it doesn't have a body. I'm just going to give it a 6 or a 6.5 out of 10. Solid, but not really anything crazy. Okay, we got a 2 cost event here. This is Special Muggy Ball. Guys, I'm telling you right now, this is a really strong event. I think a lot of people are sleeping on this one, and I don't think they realize how good this is. It is a, okay, Buggy Pirates type, of course. Effect main on your opponent's turn, or excuse me, your opponent chooses, not on your opponent's turn, guys, it's activate main. Your opponent chooses one of their characters with a cost of 6 or less and then returns it to the owner's hand. So, and then trigger bounces a cost 3 or less to the owner's hand. But the main thing is this 2 cost here, guys. What you're going to be able to do with this is just tempo bounce cards out of the way. Like, for 2 costs, you're just bouncing a card. It's like, get this card out of my way. Get this card out of my way. I'm just trying to slow you down while playing out 5-cost characters so I can make it to the late game and start chaining my buggies together and just getting rid of your entire board. And that's where this gets really, that's where it gets really out of control. Is if you can make it to the late game with this buggy leader in good shape, I feel like this card's just going to be really, really incredible. And guys, 2-cost event removal as a common in sealed draft. Oh, by the way, someone got so mad at me that I call it a sealed draft. I understand the difference between sealed and draft, guys, but because there is no draft in One Piece, I just call it sealed draft. Just bear with me, guys. I understand there is a difference. I'm just, like, used to saying it now. I don't know why. I just started saying that. Like, literally from when I got into One Piece, I never differentiated between sealed and draft, and I just called it a sealed draft. I'll talk more about that later, like maybe in my next video. And I understand the difference. Sealed's where you just get 6 sealed packs and you go at it from there. Draft is where, you know, you pick 1 card from a pack and then you pass it to the next person. It's usually like out of 8 players or whatever. Okay, or is it 6 or 8? I can't remember. But the point is you draft a card and keep going. That's a topic for another day, guys. I know I call it sealed draft all the time, and it's really just sealed. Bear with me. Hey, we don't have to just let whatever Magic the Gathering says go for everybody, right? Draft is like a main thing in games like Magic or in like Flesh and Blood has it as well. Probably a few others have it as well. But guys, for now, bear with me. Like I said, I just call it a sealed draft. I don't know why it's almost like habit now. I'm sure I'll break it over time. But technically speaking, it is just sealed in One Piece currently. We'll have to see what the future holds. Okay, so in sealed, though, like I was saying, guys, I think this card is absolutely awesome. A 2-cost way to just get a character out of the way and just keep going. Like, imagine this in Bonnie, in draft. Like we're talking about, excuse me, there I go again with draft. In sealed. Like in a sealed format where it's like, okay, I'm going to play Bonnie as my leader. I'm going to tap down characters every turn. And then I'm going to bounce back stuff after I eat up on the board whatever I tap down. Like that, oh gosh, it just seems so good, guys. And it's a common form of removal. Excellent for sealed. Okay, Murder at the Steam Bath. We got a 2-cost event here. Trigger, draw 1 card. Counter, up to one of your leader or character cards gains plus 3,000 power during this battle. Okay. Okay. Then trash up to 2 cards from your hand. Trash the same number of cards from the top of your deck as you did from your hand. What? Guys, is this not... I think it should be East Blue, right? I think they messed up. I'm just kidding. But this is Buggy Pirates type, so this will be searchable for with a card like Galdina that we just looked at, or even Cross Guild, right? Type card, yep, and type card, yep. Yeah. So I will say this, guys, it's a 2-cost 3K, which is not really incredible, but this is supposed to be for a... I feel like this is meant for a deck like Nami. I really feel like this is a deck that's geared towards Nami. Trigger, draw 1 card as well. That's not exactly bad in that deck with a 2-cost effect. You know, 2-cost counter, plus 3,000. Oof, I don't like this card. I will say, it's so good for Bonnie. I feel like, or not Bonnie. I meant to say Nami, for Nami. Because the number that I like to swing for, I've heard a lot of debate on this, guys, between like, oh, you should swing for 7 or swing for 9. For me, it's 7. All day, every day. I'm going to swing for 7 all day, every day. 6 attacks wide. Well, this is a 2-cost version that gets around that. Now, don't get me wrong. It's the same, in my opinion, it's the same thing as them going like a 2-cost 4K. So they're at least still having to spend 2. But man, the trash up to 2, that is brutal, guys. This is like a new version of their Gum Gum Giant Gavel. Pretty strong, guys. I have to say this right now. As far as like in normal decks go, I would just give this a 5 out of 10. But in Nami, this is like a 7.5 or an 8, somewhere between a 7.5 and an 8.5 out of 10. Because it's also letting them trash cards from their hand. And a lot of people don't realize how important that is. Activating effects, activating effects like, what's it called? Death Wink. Okay, or Love Beam, you know, like Love Mellow or Love Beam, whatever it's called. So really, really powerful in Nami. Jeez, guys, we just saw some crazy cards for Nami. We're about to go over those again. Okay, oh, there's one more. Sorry, guys. There's Empty Bluffs Island. This is a 1-cost stage, Cross Guild type. Activate main. You may place 2 cards from your hand at the bottom of your deck in any orders and rest the stage. If your leader has the Cross Guild type, draw 2 cards. Okay, so that's at least locked to Cross Guild. It's a nice way to cycle through cards, but I'm not really feeling this card, to be honest, guys. I'm not really feeling this one. I'm just going to give it a 5 out of 10. It's just a stage. It's at least a 2-card cycle, right? Hang on, let me see something. Place 2 cards from your hand at the bottom of your deck in any order and rest this stage. So you don't even trash the stage. Okay, hang on. I'm going to give it a little bit higher score because you can use this every single turn to fix 2 cards from your hand every turn. Because think about it. So you play the card out, you put 2 cards at the bottom of your deck, and then you draw 2 new cards. And you can do that every single turn. Okay, I think this card's actually really good. I'm going to give this card like a 7 out of 10 or a 7.5 out of 10 because you can really fix your hand with a card like this, guys. Really nice. Okay, let's keep going. All right, so one more card, actually. It's Boa Hancock. This is the special alt-art coming out. This was from OP-07, but they're going to show it off in OP-09 in this special alt-art form. It's, you know, I think they're calling it a special rare or something like that. Looks great. Great background. It just looks really good. Okay, now that's it. All right, now let's kind of summarize some stuff real quick. I do feel like Buggy is incomplete. I think he got some really good cards, but I think he needs a little more. I'm just going to say that right now. I think he needs a few more 5-cost cards, 7-cost cards. And notice this. So remember, Buggy can cheat out any cost character, 5 or more even. It doesn't matter with his effect. They just have to be cross-guild type. And the only thing they showed in here that was cross-guild type that was even decent was Crocodile at 7. Remember, Mihawk was only a 6. That's barely that barely gives you an advantage. And then this card, of course, Buggy being the boss, he can do some really crazy things, right? But I will say this: I think we need a little more support for Buggy, and I would not be surprised if they open up some more support for him in like a future set or in like some type of starter deck or some type of EB, like maybe EB02 or something, or EB03. We'll have to see how things go. But I felt like, yes, Buggy got some really good support. I actually, like I said, after looking at the card, I actually think this was a really strong event for, or excuse me, stage for Buggy. However, I think he's going to need a little bit more. It's got good searcher support, you know, with these 2 guys here. It's got ways to fix the hand, but it's kind of missing a little bit of, you know, it's not packing enough punch, right? Like, this is a great 5-cost 7K, you know, vanilla card for Cross Guild, but I can already play a 5-cost 7K. Like, what are the cards I'm going to generate advantage with? Because remember, guys, if you cheat out this card, let me go to the normal art for it. If you cheat this card out, it goes away. It doesn't stick on the board. You're paying 5, and then it's bottom decking itself unless you have 4 other 5-cost characters already on the board. So, and guys, this is One Piece. You don't just get to keep characters on the board. You know what I mean? Who knows? Maybe they'll find a way to do that. Maybe they'll find a way to, like, get extra value. But, I mean, think of it for a second, guys. Think of it like this. If you're playing against Blue Doflamingo, he's just running you over the entire game, and if this deck ever becomes anything good to worry about, okay, now they just tech in Gravity Blade Raging Tiger. Or, okay, how's about you're playing against any deck that's running black, you're just going to pop characters like probably once every other turn, and they're still bashing it with cards and filling out the board with cards like Gecko Moria. So it still becomes such an uphill battle. I really wish they had printed out a 7, or excuse me, well, they did print out a 7, that's fine. But I wish they had also printed out an 8-cost and a 9-cost cross-guild character that we could cheat out. Something like this guy. Like, I know he's not cross-guild, but like I wish they had printed, you know, some type of character that had cross-guild that had the effect of, like, I don't know, yeah, double attack or banish with an on KO to draw 2 trash 1. I think that would have been really cool. Or an 8-cost character, like I said, would have been really nice as well. But other than that, I think Blue got some really good stuff, some really interesting cards. I think this Alvida card on KO is going to be able to replace itself very easily. Especially, I mean, think about it. If you go, where's Croc? So if you, like, play this out for 5 with your leader effect, pulling down an Alvida, even if they get rid of the Alvida, you get to replace it with something else from hand, and you can keep going about things that way. But I think the general theme of how Buggy is going to go is just, okay, block her up, turtle up, play nothing but 5-cost, 5-cost characters and higher. And then I would have some early removal. I will show this in the video later, guys, but I just want tons of early removal so I can just get their cards off the field early enough, and then I can just go straight into the mid to late game and drop nothing but massive characters, broken, huge characters. You know what I mean? But yeah, I will say this overall. I still think Buggy's a really cool leader, but I think he's going to need a little more support. We'll have to see. We'll have to see how things go with the meta. Okay, well, that's it for the cards, guys. Y'all tell me what y'all thought about the blue cards. I don't think they were bad at all. They had quite a few good cards as well. I'm very curious to see how this leader goes. I think it could be pretty decent, but like I said, until he gets a little bit more support, I think it'll be hard for this to break into the top tables. But who knows, guys? Maybe once they start adding cards and moving cards around and fine-tuning the deck list and figuring out what the meta is so they can actually go around that. Blue has access to some of the best removal in the game, guys, between Gravity Blade, Raging Tiger, 6-cost Red Rock, 4-cost 3,000 Worlds. And now, in my opinion, this Muggy Ball, I'm just going to play this to remove a 3-cost character. I don't care. I'll remove a 2, 3, 4, 5-cost character. Just get it off the board so I can keep going into the late game. You know, I just think this card's going to be very nice for an early removal card just to slow my opponent down. Because imagine if you're playing against Doflamingo, like I said before, and they just slam down their leader effects going second, or going first, and then like, what do you know? They got a, you know, let's just say they got some random character. Okay, like say they got a Weevil, right? Okay, just bounce it back to your hand. Sure, if you want to play it next turn and draw another card, that's fine with me. I don't care. I just need you to slow down so that I can make it to the mid to late game and just outpace you in that way, playing out 7-cost and 10-cost characters for only 5 Dawn. You know what I mean? So anyway, all right, so that's enough for the blue. Tell me what you guys thought about this. Really interesting stuff coming out of the Cross Guild. I can't wait for that to develop more as a type, but I do think it needs a little more support, even though I've said that about 1,000 times now. All right, guys, so we got a game on the sim here. We got to knock this out first before I let y'all go. We got a game of Sanji, red Sanji from PRB01 versus purple yellow Pudding. Okay, let me adjust something real quick. There we go. Okay, volume is off, speed is on 2x, and let's see this, guys. Let's check out this game. Now, I am running the film version of Sanji still. I think it's the best version with a little bit of Straw Hat support, like you can see here, and a few other minor cards of support, like Wapol there, Bear King's film, excuse me. But I think I do think that the film package for Sanji is actually very strong, guys. Okay, so I went first, and I didn't have anything to play. Pudding's going to go second. They play out the 1-cost Event Searcher for, you know, Kaido and Lin Lin, and then they play out a Flampe, taking a life card. That was very dangerous against a rush deck. But at the same time, I am going to respect what Pudding does. I swing for 5, they give me a 1k counter, and now I'm just going to play out a blocker, and I'm going to go from here. Okay, they reveal 2 cards from the top. They reveal a Sanji and a Pudding. And here we go. Looks like they got 4 Dawn left to play out. They're going to play out a Viola to put the cards right back. Okay, so in this situation here, there's no reason for me to not attack into Nami here, because they can, like, think if they have a Katakuri for next turn, they can just swing first and reveal the cards and then use Katakuri. So there's no, because they played out Viola, there is no way for me to stop their interaction. So I am at least going to attack because there's no reason not to. Okay, so swing for 5. They'll probably give me a 1k counter or a blocker. Okay. Yep, a blocker. And I'm going to play very slowly here, guys. I'm just going to play this game very, very slowly. I'm not in a rush here, even though, you know, as the game goes on, my odds of winning do go down because they have a lot crazier in-game than I do. However, if I can establish enough momentum early on, I can negate a lot of that late-game pressure they put on by tapping out for single characters. Okay, swing for 6 into 6 here. I'm just going to give him a 1k. I give him the 1k Searcher, Luffy. And we already knew what their top cards were. Like I said, there was no way for us to stop them from doing that interaction. They're able to ramp. Next turn, they'll be on 10 Dawn for sure. Okay, so what do we do here? I still need to put on some pressure here. I want to make it uncomfortable for my opponent to just drop 10 Mom, right? I want it to become very uncomfortable for them to drop out a 10-cost character here, or even a 9-cost character. So I swing for 7. Now I'm going to swing for 7 more. That's going to cost 2 cards from hand or a life. They have 1 Dawn active. I wonder if they have like a Blast Breath or something maybe. Who knows? I play out the Sanji here, and I'm going to swing for 9. I draw the top card of my life, which was a 6-cost vanilla character, and I swing in for 9. They're down to 1 life. If you're the Pudding player, do you feel safe playing out, what's her name? Lin Lin? Because here's the thing. Watch this. No one reads what Bear King does. Let me see if this guy does. I can't remember this game. Yeah, 10 into 6. I got bad news for this guy. He cannot be KO'd in battle by a 6,000 power or higher character. Okay? Or I think it says he cannot be KO'd in battle if your opponent has a 6,000 power or higher character. Base character. Okay. So right here, they swing for 7. I take that, sure. I still have my blocker on the board. I could have blocked if I needed to, guys. But now it's time to, you know, really deal with this board. So I'm going to swing for 6 into 4 here. I dropped a 7,000 power character Katakuri down to 4. That's going to cost a 2k, 1k from their hand. They don't have it. They don't have that, guys. That's a lot to get out of when you only have 5 cards in hand. And by the way, I still had 2 more attacks. I'm going to swing for 5 because I think I'm going to play out Walpole here, I believe. Let me see what I do. Yeah, play out Walpole, attach 1, give him rush, attack into the ace here, give him minus 2,000, and we'll... So right here, I think... hang on one second. Yeah, I couldn't swing Bear King into the ace there, and I figured that out afterwards. I was like, oh, wait a minute, I should have done this first. So we'll swing 9 into 8. That at least got... I got 2 2K counters out of their hand. I only have 2 life right here, but guys, I've got quite a bit of counter power in hand. I've got 3 2K counters, and everything else is a 1K counter. So I've got plenty of counter power. I've got 2 bodies, or 2 life. They're going to play out the 10 cost Lin. I can easily 1K counter out of whatever they're about to swing into right here with their pudding. Okay, swinging at face. There's no way I take this, right? There's no point to take this attack, right? Okay, he's gonna swing in. I'm gonna give him 1K counter. Let's see what he does here with the ace. Does he want to swing at me, or does he want to swing at one of my characters? I take it. He swings at one of my characters. Now, we have to be smart here. Okay, we have to be very smart here because I'm not in a good position to win this game. I can try to go all in here, but how effective will that really be? Right? That's the question. So right here, I'm going to swing 10 into 8. Let's see what he gives me. This will determine a lot. This will determine pretty much everything. Okay. And if he defends this, by the way, guess what? I'm just going to swing more characters into it because that'll be the rest of his cards, right? That'll be all of his cards left. Okay, it goes through. Very good. Now, I do have to poke him down a little bit right here so I can try to set up lethal for next turn. He takes it. Okay, he got a trigger, but it was not a body. The only thing that matters right now is that he does not get any more bodies on the board. I don't want him to have any more bodies. So I'm going to swing for 7. This probably will go through. Yep, let's see. Did he get a body? He did not. So I'm going to play out Shariah and play out... I'm going to play out 2 more blockers, Chopper and Shariah. I have 3 blockers. I have quite a bit of 2K counter in hand. I've got 2K, 2K. So I've got 3 2Ks and then 2 1Ks in hand. I'm feeling pretty safe, actually. Even though I have no life right now, 3 blockers, and one of them is Shariah. So even if he tried to swing for 15 at my face, I can block with Shariah, 1K counter out, and I'm good. Okay, with his leader. Okay. Excuse me. So let's see what he's going to do now. I mean, this is a tough spot. What do you do if you're if you're purple yellow pudding? And by the way, they don't run a ton of counters or triggers. They don't run a ton of triggers. I mean, I guess it depends on the version, but because of that, I felt pretty safe attacking into their life, and I had to take them down to at least 1 life, or well, I will say at least 2 life this turn, so I could try to win on the crackback this turn. So my opponent is taking their time. They're not BMing me or anything like that. They're trying to figure out what is the best way for me to win this game. They swung for 5. So they're either going to play out an ace this turn or another Lin. That's pretty much the only option here. I mean, I guess they could play out like a 9 cost character, maybe, but why wouldn't they just swing for 6 in that case? 12 into 8. I don't know, guys. Would y'all let this card go? I think I should just block it. Yeah. I was going to say I considered countering out. You see down there, I could have actually countered out of that very, very clean. You know, it was 12 and 8, so it would have been a 2K, 2K, 1K. But remember, guys, I can get rush. I can very easily get rush if I need to on a character. Okay, so they're going to swing for 10 into 5 here. I'm going to just go 3 2Ks and get out of it because this turn I have to swing all in with my whole board. I can't just keep eating these attacks. I will say this, technically speaking, I could have gone probably 1 more turn and been fine by going into their board. I think I actually could have maybe got their board. Well, see, maybe not. Look at that. That was a 0 cost 3K. I'm going in for 7 more. Let's see if he has it. We'll go -2. Actually, going in for 9. We'll go -2 to his ace there. I did that all out of order, guys. That was not well done. I did that completely. It should have been 7, 7, then 9 because look, he was able to get out of that easily. Now I'm going to swing for 5. This will get both cards out of his hand if he has any left, and then I'm going to be able to play out a rush character here and finish out the game. Swing for 5. The only thing that could have saved him there was a blocker, and it absolutely would have, by the way, and we're going to swing for 8. That was a good game. He got a category from his life. That was a good one. That was a fun one. But I will say this, guys, when it comes to Sanji, because you can give any character rush that as long as they don't have an on-play effect, anything that costs 8 or less without an on-play effect, you can give 1 character rush per turn. So with that in mind, I'm a huge fan of this version right here that's like film. Let me put my glasses on so I can see it better. This is the version that I really like to play. I've been having a lot of success with it. It could still be modified. Notice I'm running a little bit of straw hats in here, but you know, think about it. Nami can search up Luffy. Luffy can search up a lot of the film stuff down here, like, you know, Mashuru, Shiraya, Barraking, Saga's a 2K counter. This is a film Supernova Straw Hat character right here as well that you can search up either one. But then, you know, Nami can get almost anything in here, guys. I mean, between Chopper, Sanji, this Luffy, the other Luffy we were just talking about, the 2K counter Luffy, the Searcher Luffy, the Zoro, the Bad Manners Kit course. She has tons of targets in here. And it really just helps you fill out your hand. Excuse me. It just helps you fill out your hand a lot and to go from there. There's probably some argument to go like maybe 1 or 2 Shanks in the deck for like top end, you know, for late games. So you can just take out one of their big characters. Like, imagine if I could have just popped their Shanks inside of my 3 blockers that I had. I would have extended the game 1 more turn, I think a little more comfortably. I don't know, maybe not, though. Because, like, if you look back at that last game I did, I probably could have played Wapol to just smash into the ace and sat behind 2 blockers again, and then just poked him down to 0 cards, you know, and gone from there. But who knows? It worked out either way, but I feel like it was a little riskier the way that I did it when I already had all those blockers to hide behind. And, you know, for those who are not aware, Purple Yellow Pudding does not run much, if any, removal. So at least not yet. We'll have to see how the list evolves over time. All right, guys, that's it, man. That's it. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you guys have any comments, questions, or suggestions, please do not hesitate to put them down in the comment section below. Tell me what y'all thought about the blue cards. Tomorrow we're going to have purple, and then black, and then yellow. So we're making our way right through all these OP-09 cards. Blue looks very exciting. I'm very happy to see this new cross guild style, because it's like its own mechanic, right? With this the 5-cost mechanic. It's very similar to Black Yellow Luffy, you know, or well, I shouldn't say Black Yellow Luffy. It's that whole entire the 3 brothers style. It has a lot of 5-cost support in there. And that's really cool. I do like that. It's very good stats at 5, where like if you're going first or second, you have a lot of potential 3 drops. You know, like your turn 3 5 drops. So really good stuff there. All right, that's enough. I'm just rambling now. Okay, big shout out to all the playmat supporters, guys. I hope you guys are enjoying your playmat. And thank you to everybody who's just following this channel, watching, subscribing, sharing, commenting, viewing it, whatever you're doing, guys. I really appreciate it. The channel's been growing like crazy lately. I really do appreciate you guys. Again, big shout out to all the people who bought the playmat to support the channel. I hope you guys are enjoying your playmat. And then last but not least, of course, the VV Pirates patron page. Thank you guys so much. I really appreciate each and every one of y'all for just trying to make this channel work. You're just like, I just want to donate money just to make sure this channel succeeds. And I really do appreciate that, guys. It means a whole lot to me. All right, I'm done. Hope you guys enjoyed. Like I said, please do not forget to like and subscribe. And until next time, guys, peace.